While the retail market focused on short-term domestic corporate news, institutional capital quietly executed a major risk repricing. The benchmark Sensex plunged 561 points in a single session, driven by escalating tensions in West Asia. This is not just a temporary dip. It is a fundamental signal that the equity risk premium for emerging markets is shifting. When geopolitical friction points ignite, global liquidity immediately seeks shelter in safe haven assets. This rapid capital flight changes the valuation landscape for India's high-flying indices. To understand where the smart money is moving, we have to look past the daily headlines and examine the underlying structural lines of the Indian market. But that is only part of the story. To assess the damage, we must look at the structural composition of our premier benchmarks, the Sensex and the Nifty 50. These indices are not just numbers. They represent the primary gateway for foreign institutional investors seeking exposure to India's secular growth story. They are heavily weighted toward financial services and energy conglomerates. This concentration acts as a structural moat during domestic expansions, but it also creates concentrated vulnerabilities when external shocks hit. When global energy prices threaten to rise, these core index heavyweights bear the brunt of the initial institutional selling pressure. That is exactly what we are seeing play out right now. Now look at how this structural exposure affects specific megacap entities. Reliance Industries and HDFC Bank alone command massive influence over our market's direction. Reliance operates as India's premier energy and consumer surrogate, while HDFC Bank serves as the central nervous system of credit creation. When international fund managers decide to reduce their emerging market risk profile, they do not sell mid-caps. They liquidate these liquid, highly valued index giants to raise cash. This institutional sell-off creates a mechanical drag on the index. This explains why a macro shock in West Asia translates so rapidly into a 500-plus point drop on our local screens. Here is where the valuation metrics become interesting. Before this correction, the Indian market was trading at a significant premium to its historical average and its emerging market peers. This premium left very little margin for error. A high valuation environment requires perfect execution and stable macro conditions. The moment geopolitical tensions flare up, that premium is immediately challenged. Institutional analysts start adjusting their equity risk models, pushing target multiples downward. This leads to a rapid, mechanical valuation compression across the board, even for businesses whose underlying fundamentals remain entirely intact. It is a reminder that market prices are driven by liquidity and sentiment as much as earnings. The next signal comes from the divergence between foreign and domestic capital flows. Foreign institutional investors have been consistent net sellers during this period of global tension, rotating capital back to US dollar assets. On the other side, domestic institutional investors, supported by steady domestic retail inflows, are absorbing a large portion of this supply. This domestic bid acts as a powerful shock absorber, preventing a full-scale market capitulation. However, while domestic inflows can slow the descent, they are rarely enough to drive new highs in the face of persistent foreign selling. This friction creates a classic consolidation pattern that we must navigate carefully. Let's look at how India's leading corporate treasuries are reacting to this environment. Companies like Reliance Industries are already implementing defensive capital allocation strategies. They are optimizing their refining configurations to deal with fluctuating crude prices and actively hedging currency risks. Managing high import costs during currency volatility is a key differentiator. Strong corporate treasuries use these moments of stress to gain market share from weaker competitors who lack the financial tools to protect their margins. For long-term investors, monitoring how these heavyweights protect their cash flow is far more important than watching daily index fluctuations. Something important is happening in the upstream energy sector as well. While refining and retail-heavy businesses face pressure, state-run exploration giants like ONGC experience a very different dynamic. Rising Brent crude prices directly improve their realization rates per barrel. This creates a natural hedge within the broader Indian index. When oil spikes, ONGC acts as a counterweight, offsetting some of the losses in importing sectors. But this benefit is always balanced against potential government policy shifts, such as windfall taxes. This highlights the complex regulatory landscape that institutional investors must model when allocating capital to state-linked entities. That leads us to a bigger question regarding global transmission channels. How exactly does West Asia tension impact and domestic business running out of Mumbai or Bengaluru? The answer lies in energy dependency and supply chains. India imports over 80% of its crude oil requirements. When geopolitical risks escalate in the Middle East, ocean freight rates spike, insurance premiums rise, and shipping routes face disruption. This instantly inflates the cost of raw materials across multiple sectors, from paint manufacturers to logistics providers. This energy transmission channel is the most critical link between global geopolitical developments and domestic corporate margins. Now look at how the global yield landscape is reacting. Escalating geopolitical risk often pushes investors into the safety of U.S. Treasuries, driving the US dollar index higher. A stronger dollar exerts immediate downward pressure on emerging market currencies, including the Indian rupee. For foreign investors, currency depreciation can wipe out local equity gains, prompting them to reduce their emerging market exposure. This yield pressure creates a challenging environment where even positive domestic earnings can be offset by global macro developments. Understanding this global capital loop is essential for managing institutional portfolios through market cycles. This macro environment directly drives margin pressure. When shipping container costs and fuel surcharges rise, manufacturing and consumer companies are forced to make a difficult decision. They must either pass those costs on to consumers, risking demand destruction, or absorb them, leading to margin contraction. In a high-valuation market, even a minor compression in operating margins can lead to sharp corrections in stock prices. This is why institutional analysts are currently busy revising their earnings forecasts, looking closely at raw material dependency across all key manufacturing sectors. Let's look at how this pressure transfers to the banking sector. Systemic financial institutions, such as HDFC Bank, are the foundation of market liquidity. When global capital flows reverse, domestic liquidity can tighten, driving up funding costs for banks. At the same time, if high input costs pressure corporate margins, corporate credit profiles can weaken. Although Indian banking balance sheets are currently at their healthiest in a decade, a prolonged macro shock will test their underwriting resilience. This is why systemic lenders are closely monitoring their exposure to energy-sensitive and highly leveraged industries. This brings us to our forward outlook and valuation reassessment. We are currently watching several key indicators. If Brent crude stabilizes and the dollar index pauses its upward trend, we expect to see a stabilization in emerging market equities. Under this scenario, several highly resilient sectors could present strong accumulation opportunities. However, if geopolitical tensions escalate further, we must prepare for a more prolonged consolidation phase. This means shifting focus toward businesses with exceptionally strong balance sheets, pricing power, and low external energy dependence. This is a time for disciplined capital preservation, not aggressive speculative risk-taking. In summary, we are classifying the broad Indian market indices under a watchful, defensive hold. While certain oil exploration segments like ONGC are on a selective breakout watch due to high crude realizations, overvalued consumer sectors remain under a clear trim consideration as margin pressures build. Successfully navigating this market requires keeping a close eye on global liquidity trends, capital flows, and energy markets. We will continue to track these macro dynamics as they develop, helping you adjust your asset allocation strategies to stay ahead of the curve. To stay ahead of these global shifts and receive sophisticated institutional market analysis, make sure you are subscribed to SR Money News and turn on all notifications so you never miss a deep dive update. Let us know in the comments how you are adjusting your asset allocation and which companies you are monitoring to navigate these West Asia tensions. We will see you in our next detailed macro briefing.